nonetheless, Kanishka, a very quiet day coming in on the market.
Absolutely. Very quiet day coming in on the market. Well, let's get started with all the queries then right here at the SBI Live Studios. And today we are joined with we have joined by Sharmila Joshi on the fundamentals, and we also have Kunal Bothra on the technicals. Hi, both of you. Very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us and requesting our viewers to keep sending in their queries. The number is flashing on your screen. Don't forget to mention your name, your stock name, your holding time horizon, and your specific stock query. So let's get started with all the queries. Then the first one is coming from Vinish Gupta, who's written to us from Jammu and Kashmir. He says he has Elgi Equipment, 200 shares at a price of 520 rupees, and Sterling Winston at a 500 shares at a price of 320 rupees. So what should he do from here on for this particular stock? Kunal, let me come to you. How are the charts looking for Elgi Equipment and Sterling Winston? What's on the cards?
To all of you, and so I think on both the stocks, LG Equipment as well as Sterling Wilson Solar, both the charts are completely different. Sterling Wilson Solar on one hand is quite a weak chart. The stock has seen a major correction from 750 levels in 2024 towards a point where the stock is still struggling to hold on to any kind of a major bounce at current levels of 250. So I would recommend an exit for the stock. And looking at the last 12 months of chart patterns, it just indicates that maybe the stock could either go into a further time-wise correction or it may go into a zone of an underperformance. LG Equipment, on the other hand, I think has been a fantastic chart. In the same time span, the stock has shown a very good recovery. I think at current levels of 500, I believe that you can continue to hold on to the stock. Would not suggest an add as of now because the risk reward is slightly not in favorable. But I think at current levels, you can continue to just hold on to the stock.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Algi Equipment and Sterling and Wilson. But let's move on to a caller who's now joining us. Nishad is joining us from Thane. Hi, Nishad. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Tell us what's your question.
Yes, I wanted to know about IDFC Bank. I'm holding 1,000 shares at 66. Ujjivan, 1,000 shares at 36. RateGain, 70 shares at 728. And Motilal Oswal, 40 shares at 600. I wanted to know, should I hold them or can I sell them?
What is your time horizon, Nishad?
I'm for the long term only.
All right, there's a couple of names there, Sharmila, for the long term. There's Motilal Oswal, there's IDFC First, Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, and RateGain. What would be your view for the long term?
So let's start with IDFC first. I think that's a decent stock within the private banking space, and overall, I'm expecting better things for banking. So I think this remains this will be a hold. Coming to Ujjivan, my view is slightly mixed because the past 7-8 months haven't been the best for anything in this space, the small finance, microfinance kind of companies. So here, I think. If it is above your buying price, then I think exit. Otherwise, you could continue to hold. But I'm not expecting very big things from this space. Then I think, which was the third stock?
Ujjivan Small Finance Bank and IDFC First and RateGain. I think you haven't taken RateGain.
And Motilal Oswal. So Motilal Oswal, I'm positive on, given the fact that if one is expecting markets to go up, then their fortunes will be directly linked with what happens in the market, and we are expecting greater retail participation as we go ahead. So I think the way their book is and their revenue streams are, I think if you're a long-term investor, it makes sense to continue to hold. Once again, where RateGain is concerned, I think that the valuations for this stock look good, and you should continue to hold.
View coming in on Motilal Oswal and RateGain. Kunal, let me come to you for the tech check also. Motilal Oswal, RateGain, IDFC First, and Ujjivan Small Finance Bank.
See, I think all these stocks are quite strong on the charts. Yes, they've gone through a tough phase, but I think which of the stocks have not gone through a tough phase over the last 12 odd months. But top quality names, I think all of them. Ujjivan Small Finance Bank has made a good bottom at the 30 levels. I think around 3 or 6 months back. IDFC First Bank also, I think, had made a bottom on the 55 to 60 odd zone. It's come back to 70 plus mark right now. Motilal Oswal, I think, has also gone through a very similar kind of a patch. So I think in that context, I would actually believe that since you're a long-term investor, the chart patterns are looking quite robust on the longer-term basis. I would suggest a hold on all of those names.
All right, so a whole call coming on all of those names. Nishad, hope your query was answered well. But moving on to the next query, then we have our next caller joining us, Shankar from Chennai. Hi, Shankar. Very good morning. Please tell us what's your query.
I am holding.
Hi, Shankar. Can you please go ahead, Shankar? Ask your query. All right, I think we lost the line there, but we have his query. He wants to buy Varun Beverages. So let me come to both of you. Sharmila, let's start with you. How do you think the fundamentals are for Varun Beverages? Do you think one should enter at this juncture for the long term?
Yes, I think so. Overall, I like the consumption names, and at this valuation, Varun Beverages looks quite good to me. So if you're a long-term investor, you can definitely buy at this level.
All right, and Kunal, what about you? Is the chart structure looking good for Varun Beverages? Good time to enter?
Not really. I would suggest, I have a slightly different view because, the stock is still struggling. I think I have seen the stock correcting from 520 levels thereabouts towards 450, 460 where it's trading right now. There could be a possibility that the indicators are a little oversold, but then, that would probably not indicate a major change of trend for the stock. I would suggest a buy, if the stock crosses above the 500 levels, that would be a stronger confirmation point that maybe the near to medium term trends have reversed for Varun Beverages. So if you're looking at a better risk reward, then maybe current levels could be attractive. But if you're looking at a higher confirmatory point, then I would believe that maybe a cross above 500 levels could be a better zone to buy the stock.
All right, so that's the fundamental and the tech check for Varun Beverages. I hope you've got your question answered. But with that, it's time for us to slip into a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for more on the other side. Number is flashing on top of your screens. Do write into us and we'll get them answered by our experts. Let's get going with all the questions that are now coming in. This one's from Tansen, who's writing in from Kochi. He wants your view on Tanla Platforms on the current market price. Are these the good levels to get into Tanla Platforms? Kunal, let me come to you for the right buying price for Tanla. Is this the right time to get into Tanla, because discount has moved up quite a bit? I mean, in the last 6 and even in the last 1 month, it has moved up almost 15%. Should he wait for correction, or he can get in right now?
See, you can get in right now, but of course, there are a lot of points which you have to understand that it's a high beta stock. The stock has tendency of moving into 30-40% of trends, whether it's on the upside or the downside. So in case if you're caught on the wrong side of the trend, then the reversal or the downside could be significantly higher for stock prices before it goes into a reversal. It goes into a trend mode yet again. That's the only catch with a stock like Tanla. So I think in that aspect, the best way to try and mitigate this is to have a very reduced or a moderate position size over here. Now, keeping those aspects, I believe, yes, the stock on the weekly and the monthly charts is showing signs of a breakout. We're coming out after almost 3 or 4 months of a consolidation for the stock price. The breakout in the parabolic SAR indicator, which has happened on the monthly charts, also is a indicator that maybe the stock could see a further upside from current levels. So keeping all these aspects in mind, that the stock is a very high beta, yes, you may consider buying the stock at current levels.
Right, so that's about Tanla Platforms. But moving on to the next query then, this one is coming from PVN Rao from Hyderabad. They want to know about Yes Bank. He's wanting to know about the fundamentals. What are the long-term prospects looking like for this company, as SMBC has acquired 24% stake in Yes Bank? Sharmila, let me come to you. Following this acquisition of stake, how do you think the fundamentals have changed for Yes Bank, and what's your stance going forward for the long term?
They're definitely now stronger than they were earlier because of the entry of this new entity. Having said that, I think now what is critical is to see overall how the banking sector performs, how this bank performs within that sector, and whether they manage to successfully overcome some of the legacy issues, some of the bad loans that they had, etc. So, which in so many words means that we'll have to give it some amount of time. to see where to how the new entity strengthens its position and whether having a stronger book, how it helps the bank, etc. So you have to give it, I think, from here on out at least a couple of years to really come into its own. So that said, the valuations look reasonable and you can continue to hold it.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Yes Bank. But let's move on to the next question then. This one's coming in from Ignatius, who's writing in from Kolkata. He says he has 50 stocks of Tata Motors. He's bought it at a buying price of 753. He wants to know if he can average at these levels and stay invested. He's willing to hold it for the longer period of time. Please rest on the fundamentals as well as the targets for it. So, Sharmila, let me come to you for the fundamentals. Now, Tata Motors is one counter that has actually been an underperformer as far as the entire auto pack is concerned. In fact, just today we had that news of a cyber attack on the JLR business, and it's a feared 2 billion euro hit that could, from this JLR cyber attack that might exceed FY25 profits. In the back of that, we do see a drop coming in on Tata Motor shares. It's down almost 3.5% now. But for the future as well, this has been an underperformer as far as the auto pack is concerned, with the overhang of entire tariff issue on the JLR business. What would be your view, Sharmila?
So precisely, I think you pretty much summed it all. I think what we really need to remember when you talk of Tata Motors is that it has now many moving bits. So its biggest piece is obviously their Jaguar Land Rover entity, and that has been under stress first because of the tariff and how it was going to impact sales in the US, etc. And now this cyber attack, where they've held off production till 1st of October, is what we heard. Then we need to wait to hear further in terms of how big a hit it will be, etc. So that's not good news to start with. But I think then you have the domestic pieces, which is their commercial vehicle space, passenger vehicle space, as well as the electric vehicle space. So those spaces, to my mind, are doing better and will now pick up given the fact that we've seen this GST rate cut coming. But at the end of the day, as I said, JLR is their biggest bit, and you need to get clarity on that. So it's a stock I like, but I obviously wouldn't buy it right away.
Right, wouldn't buy it right away. Of course, JLR is the biggest bet, even though the JC rate rationalization is a big positive for all the auto companies. But Kunal, what do you see on the charts for Tata Motors? Are the tides about to turn and not going to turn? And what should Ignatius do, because he's already holding on to it? Should he hold on to it really, or should he now sell probably right now, because he's sitting at a loss already? So should he be cutting his losses?
I think you can continue to just hold on to the stock. I don't see a ad at current levels, because of the reasons which you guys are discussing in terms of the short-term news flow impact for the stock price. That could keep the stock under pressure. I think that's why you've seen the stock starkly behaving completely starkly different as compared to the other peers, whether it's in the four-wheeler majors, because you've seen at one hand the likes of Maruti, M&M doing spectacularly well, but Tata Motors has grossly underperformed. Even the last couple of days, you've seen the pace of selling a little bit more higher for the stock price. So I think in that sense, maybe from a near-term impact, the stock will just about continue to trade into a volatile manner. But yeah, I think on the longer term charts, it's not as if that Tata Motors is a sell. I think it's a quality stock. The stock has already gone through a 50% kind of a correction on the long term charts from 2024 highs approximately. So I think in that aspect, longer term wise, it's at an attractive juncture. Short term wise, I would suggest an avoid.
All right, so that's the view on Tata Motors. But moving on to the next query then. This one again is one of the queries is from the auto pack again. This is Rajiv writing from Gurgaon. He holds 100 shares of Bajaj Auto. He's been holding them for a year at an average price of 9,800. He says, should he wait till the end of the festival season for the stock to give some profit? And other than Bajaj Auto, he's also been holding Ireda for a stock at an average price of 145. He's had it for a year now. He wants to know whether he should hold or sell this particular stock. Kunal, let me come to you. Bajaj Auto and Ireda, what's the view here?
So Bajaj Auto definitely a hold, and especially with the recovery for these auto stocks, I believe that there would be a point where Bajaj Auto would try to come back, to those 9,500 to even 10,000 plus mark. Wouldn't be surprised that if this move sustains for the stock over the medium to long term, then you might see the stock, say in 2026 second half or so, trying to make a dash back towards the lifetime high level. So I would suggest a hold on Bajaj Auto. Ireda, I think it's a weak chart. The stock has been extremely volatile too much of news flow. I think the near-term charts also indicate that this volatility would continue for the stock in the near to medium term. So I would suggest an avoid or maybe a sell on Ireda.
All right, so that's a technical view, but let's also get a fundamental check done now with Sharmila. Sharmila, what do you think? Bajaj Auto and Ireda, good from the long-term perspective, or any change in fundamentals, especially with Bajaj Auto and the festive season and the GST rate cuts that have come in?
So I think obviously the GST rate cuts will be positive for all the three two-wheelers, whether it is TVS Motors, Bajaj Auto, or Hero Motors. Purely from a valuation perspective, I prefer Hero Motors at this point in time. But as I said, all the three stocks are great. I personally own TVS Motors and I'm not selling it in any hurry. But my recommendation of late has been Hero Motors simply because it's corrected quite a bit. But since he has Bajaj Auto, I think he definitely stays put. I don't really see any reason why he should be in a hurry to sell it. IREDA, again, I think valuations look okay, but uh, you could see lower levels from here. There's no taking away from that. But if you're a longer term investor, you can stay invested at this price.
Hi there, welcome back to ET Now. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Kanishka Sarkar and Ankita Saxena, and you've joined us live from the SBI Live Studios. This is a show where we're taking all your stock-specific queries. So let's get back then. Now, Kunal, this query is coming for you. This is Anita writing in from Pune. She says, Trent and BSE, are these good buys at the current levels? She's looking to hold them for a longer time horizon of about 2 to 3 years. So do you think current levels are good to enter?
So yeah, I mean, quality-wise, yes, these are top quality names which have done very well for themselves. The only bigger concern for both of these stocks apparently is that both Trent as well as BSE are trading below their longer-term moving averages. Now, historically, we've seen that whenever stocks fall below their long-term moving averages, there is a lot of struggle which these stocks have to go through, and they have to endure a lot of corrective wave. So I think in that sense, maybe I think you can just keep a track on both of these stocks. As of now, I would not suggest a buy on both of these names, even though the price levels could be attractive. I think a confirmation of a break above their respective 200 moving averages could make the trade a lot more attractive. So would suggest an avoid as of now, but a buy about their respective 200 moving averages for both Trent and BSE.
All right, moving on then to the next question. From BSE and Trent, we'll move on to the next question that's coming in from Narayan from Bangalore. He says he's a regular viewer of ET Now channel and he loves watching Buy Now Sell Now. Thank you so much, Narayan, for watching us and our channel. Keep watching ET Now. And here's the question that he's asking. He says he's holding IndusInd Bank 140 shares with an average buying price of 861. From the past 8 months, kindly suggest if I can continue to hold or average or switch to something else. I think IndusInd Bank is a counter. Let me come to both of you for the view, because Sharmila, let me come to you for IndusInd Bank first, because this company has been been through so much, has been marred in a lot of controversies, whether it was the derivatives and the change of guard happened for IndusInd Bank. In the long term, what would you see? And then I'll come for a tech check from Kunal as well.
So the interesting thing is, when I was listening to this question, you did mention that the buyer has held it for 8 months. So I was just thinking that he's a brave person. He's held on by all the things that you were talking of have taken place, all the corporate governance issues, etc. Now we are actually on a recovery mode. So if he's kept the faith so far, I think continue to hold it, and hopefully things will now settle down for them as a bank, and you will see better days ahead.
So Sharmila says that just the fact that he's held on to his faith for so long, despite IndusInd going downhill, he should hold on to it. Kunal, but what does your tech check suggest? Do you suggest the same?
Well, I think the stock is still into a downtrend from 1600 levels. I think in 2024 start, the stock is consistently making a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. So I would believe that if in case you're looking to hold on to the stock or even look to add further, then I would suggest a confirmation of a break above their previous respective swing highs is the only big confirmation which you need to wait out for. That level of breakout for IndusInd Bank is 900 rupees, 900 to 920 thereabouts. I'm not sure when the stock is going to hit those levels, but I think only once the stock breaks and closes above the 900, 920 mark is where we can expect a big revival for IndusInd Bank.
All right, so big revival expected for IndusInd Bank. That's the view coming in from Kunal. But that was the last query of the show today. Thank you so much, Sharmila and Kunal, for joining us and helping us with all the stock-specific queries that you have advised on. On that note, we'll let you go. And we're completely timed out on this edition of Buy Now. So Ankita and I will take your leave, but don't go anywhere as markets at noon will take all the action forward.